Hi ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SAAA Accounting Academy. Here's a short clip on one of our previous webinars. I hope that you really do enjoy it.
Good day, I'm David Delaney from Business Unite and welcome to today's webinar based on digital marketing and the Digitally Ready series which Business Unite is developing for businesses all over South Africa. Today we're going to be focusing on two topics. The first is building a brand storyboard, and the second is going to be a culmination of everything we spoke about over previous webinars, and that's understanding the digital marketing environment and bringing everything together that we spoke about in previous webinars and developing it into a digital marketing strategy, a winning one for your business. And today, as we mentioned, we'll start with building a brand storyboard. Now, as you're thinking about storyboard, the first thing that comes to your mind is probably a novelist writing their book, or maybe a director setting out the scenes of a movie or a short video. But the same can be applied to a brand. Building your brand involves different stages. The story you want to bring across, the message you want to bring across. It's got a same scenario and you offer a solution. So it follows we call a brand storyboard. And I think it's in a very important area, whether you're starting out or you want to reevaluate your brand, your identity and your message and the value you bring across. So I'm hoping this module in particular will be of a particular benefit for you going forward as an accountancy professional. Let's look at the reason why we're doing this. Look at again, always from the perspective of the consumer. They've got a problem or dilemma and they need help. They need something to get them to the next level. They need a solution, and that solution is the brand. And what we say is great brands, they build a bridge between who your customers are and who they want to be. And that's where your brand bridges that divide. And that's a quote from Jake Nielsen, who works with a brand company called Ignition Framework. As an overview to this webinar today, the objective of the brand storyboard is to consider and identify the value that your service or product creates in your customer's life, and being able to create and formulate a message that brings it across, that gets trust and reputation and goes from a tentative inquiry to a confident sale. Right, let's get started today. In order to start with the brand storyboarding, firstly, you need to identify your user persona, or you need to identify your ideal client. So again, thinking about the largest audience to a very, very focused audience. You need to look and market and speak to those people who have the intent to purchase your service. Then ask yourself the question, why do they need your service in their life? Okay. That's where our why comes in. Then you have to understand their problem. And as a specialist, you do understand their problem and you have the solution to their problem. But also look at the competitors, look at the journey that led them to coming and discovering your brand. And look at how did they previously try to solve that problem before discovering you? What trouble do they have? What trouble do they get into? Where do they come stuck before they finally communicated with you for the perfect solution you're about to give them? Looking even further, what frustrated them? Or where were they failing using previous methods? Maybe as bookkeepers or accountants, they're trying to keep their own paper trail, they're trying to do their own spreadsheets, just wasn't balancing, something was going wrong, there was some formula. Look at where they're frustrating, empathize with it, and show how you can fix that problem. Also look at what happened when they first encountered your solution. And that can also be what kind of medium, what message, what platform did they come across? Did they click? Did they just exit? Did they send you an email? Did they ring you? What was their intent? That's also important. Then looking at your solution, how does your solution differ from your competitors? What's your unique selling point? That's obviously a big part of what we offer our services and our solutions on all your website and your social media and your SEO messages. And obviously, to give a nice ending to the story, show how did your offering fulfill and satisfy their needs? How did you bridge that gap between a consumer with a problem and a consumer with a solution? How your solution, I would say, adds life value to them. There's Great quote I want to share from Janet Ivanovich, is an American writer, talking specifically about storyboarding in a broader context. She says, when I'm plotting out a book, I use a storyboard and then just start walking through the plot line. But what she says is, I always know where relationships will go and I know how the book is going to end. So a storyboard can change, but having a storyboard in place means you know the plot from discovering the customer to offering the solution to adding value to the customer along the lifetime value. So how should a brand storyboard look? So let's start getting creative and let's start assigning boxes and filling in important information. And it ties back to the user personas right through to lifetime value. Typical brand storyboard with 8 boxes starts like a nursery rhyme, once upon a time. And that's looking at the client perspective. Once upon a time, there was a small business person, solo entrepreneur, who had an accounting dilemma, who just couldn't keep in touch or couldn't keep track of invoices, quotations, requests, responses. And they always did it a certain way, but then they always had a problem because they require a solution. Then the second section, they tried to solve it using various ways, but obviously it didn't work because they wished for a different outcome. The 6th box, until one day, and that's where you as a brand comes in. Until one day they discovered you. It might have been a client referral, it might have been word of mouth, you might have been hitting a few balls in the golf course and someone suddenly mentioned you as a solution. And then that's where you come in, and that's where you sell your message, you sell your point of how you do it differently, how you can do it better, and let's say cost effective as well. And the story wraps up like a nursery rhyme. His or her wish had come true. They lived happily ever after because you bridged that gap in what was going wrong in their business, and you're providing the solution that made everything better once again. Like a typical book or movie storyboard, your brand can fill in those same boxes as well. So I've just provided a quick sample end product. It's huge, there's a lot of information in it. So it might not just be a 8 block story box. Different boxes have their own journey and have different outcomes and solutions. So your storyboard will start as maybe an 8 box, and it'll start expanding out from there. Building on from that simple 8 block storyboard that I shared with you, just want to show you a sample end product. Not really to fear you, but just to show you how your initial brand storyboard can expand into quite a bigger story with different outcomes, with different endings, much like a story, or much more like a Peter Jackson trilogy where you don't really know where it's going to finish. So a sample end product, for example, video-based learning, it's not just going to be someone receiving a video. It can also be someone training a video or someone getting certain insights. So your storyboard will evolve and expand over time, also to prepare you for various outcomes and various solutions that you offer. And what you want to do is, the purpose of the brand storyboard is answering a customer's key questions, and that's answering what they need in their life. So in essence, a brand is nothing more than the story that users recall when they think of you. So the brand is a very important thing. It's your reputation, it's your story, it's how you've progressed over time and the trust and credibility that others around you have built on you. Sharing the quote, all human aspirations are opportunities for brands to build relationships. There's really any aspect or sphere of life when your brand can be introduced to offer something that adds to the value in their life. So in executing a brand story, obviously you're going to start with a brand introduction. It's what you're about, how we started, how we came to be, why we created our service to fulfill needs in people's lives. Then I can take, I guess, 2 different branches, and they are quite interlinked. You're looking at the customer's potential problem. So what is it in their life? What's frustrating them? Why do they need a solution like you do? And then throughout the story, you showcase how the solution for their problem is your product. And also you add in unique selling points, why you're ideally suited, why you are better than your competitors, why you're more cost effective, why you're the perfect answer to their needs. And alongside that brand story, answering the problem with a solution, you also can use a brand story to showcase your product or service in use. And you wrap it up by, summing up the product, showing testimonials, proving that it's worked in people's lives and there's no reason for you not to trust that it's going to work in their lives. And again, continually, you reinforce your brand through your brand story. It's not a one-off story. There's sequels to it. There can be changes. There can be sudden things that may happen that might force you to change the story a little bit. Adaptation is a key.
I hope that you enjoyed that video. For more of our webinar videos, go to www.accountingacademy.co.za. Thank you and have a lovely day.